Right now at 10, trusting the election process. In a time when people are worried about what happens on voting day, election officials say your vote is safe. And the candidates for La Crosse County Sheriff answer questions from the public during a forum. Plus, a man who spent decades behind bars after being wrongfully convicted is now sharing his story.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Amy is off tonight. A recent Marquette Law poll reveals that 56% of voters are very concerned about ensuring votes are accurately counted. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen explains why voters are worried and how you can be sure the election is secure.
America is built on democracy, but in recent years, some have challenged that pillar.
We are encountering an unprecedented amount of conspiracy theories and misinformation online.
UW La Crosse political science professor Anthony Chergosky explains that in some cases, political rhetoric is to blame.
When a political leader says something like that they have doubt in the election results, then that's going to have a downstream effect on the views of the general public.
But that isn't voters' only concern.
Chergosky says recent Wisconsin court rulings, like the ones that prohibit use of absentee drop boxes like this one, may be contributing to the public mistrust.
A constant stream, it seems, of court rulings can change on a dime how elections are conducted in this state.
But Chergosky says Wisconsinites don't need to worry.
Elections in Wisconsin are remarkably transparent.
People like City Clerk Nikki Elson run elections, and she sees the concerns.
We go to the Wisconsin Election Commission website and we're like, okay, what is the latest memo on this?
But she assures voters that everything is secure.
The counts are triple checked. They're checked at the municipal level, they're double checked at the county level, and then they're certified by the state.
And voting machines are sealed, tested, and sealed again.
And every part of this, too, which is important to know, is transparent and it's open for public observation.
Elson encourages asking questions.
We want our elections to be secure. We want them to be safe. We want them, that transparency is there.
And what she asks is the public pays attention. In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
Elson says there are plenty of opportunities for the public to watch the process. She also encourages anyone with questions or confusion about the process to contact their city clerk. Now, absentee ballots for the November 8th election are on their way to voters' mailboxes. City clerks want to remind voters there are rules they need to follow to make sure their vote gets counted. You can only return your ballot. You cannot return ballots for other people unless you're helping a disabled voter return their ballot.
In that case, we're probably going to ask some questions. If you walk in with 2 ballots, we're going to say, are you the voter?
And the same rules apply when you're returning the absentee ballot on election day. You cannot drop off your ballot at a drop box. Also, make sure you fill out all the information on the ballot envelope and sign the certificate. If there's missing information on that, the vote will not count. Let's take a break, switch it over to the world of weather with our meteorologist, Eric Dean.
Hey, that's right. Good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it was cooler today as compared to yesterday. We were in the 70s. Eau Claire barely made it to 70. They hit 70. 72 is the high in Black River Falls, 72 in Sparta. We made it to 74 in La Crosse, but don't let that number fool you because in the next check weather, I'll tell you when we hit that 74. Viroqua made it to 74. Decorah made it to 79. Preston made it to 73. And right now they're at the double nickels, 55 degrees, 55 in Decorah, 55 in Sparta, as well as Volkfield. We're the warm spot. Looks like on the map, 61 in La Crosse, 59 in Prairie du Chien, 53 is the current temperature in Eau Claire. So let's help you plan your day. Tomorrow we'll start the day off with temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s with plenty of sunshine. We go back into the low to mid 60s, and that's where we're going to stay throughout the afternoon and evening hours. And by the 8 o'clock hour, we have calm winds with temperatures in the mid 50s. Radar scan right now showing some false echoes on the radar, but we are seeing a clean sweep across the area. And this is going to get a break for tomorrow. But in the first alert forecast, Ken, we're talking rain chances. And we're talking temperatures even cooler. Some places may see highs in the 50s. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Well, the 2 candidates for La Crosse County Sheriff answered questions from the public at a forum tonight. Each candidate got 30 minutes to introduce themselves and respond to questions. We caught up with the candidates before the forum. Fritz Leinfelder is running as a Republican on the ballot. He says he's got 30 years of experience working in law enforcement in La Crosse as a jailer, a patrol officer, and as a sheriff's deputy. Leinfelder said if he's elected, he wants to focus on mental health and addiction solutions.
I think my strengths are to bring the community together, to be able to talk about these things, to help further conversations on what we need to do to address these kind of issues that we're seeing.
Leinfelder's Democratic opponent John Siegel has 29 years of experience in law enforcement, 20 of them as a sheriff's deputy. Siegel says he believes La Crosse County's law enforcement agencies are good and wants to continue recent improvements by listening to what the community wants to see.
Conversations are important. Collaboration and really sitting down with people in the community who may feel like they've been underserved by law enforcement, or hearing from people their experiences with law enforcement, and then evaluating that and figuring out how do we continue to move forward.
If you missed the forum tonight and want to hear from both of the candidates, La Crosse County has a video of the full event on their Facebook page. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers wants you to be able to decide the future of abortion access in the state. This morning, Evers pushed the legislature to allow voters to make decisions on any issue via ballot referendum. Wisconsin doesn't allow that for now, but half the states in the country do. This move would take a lot of effort before coming to fruition, but Evers says it's worth it because change is necessary to take on abortion bans specifically.
If Republican legislators aren't going to uphold the will of the people, then the people of the state should have the right to take a stand at the ballot box.
Now, if the legislature approves it, this is how it would work. Wisconsinites submit possible laws or constitutional amendments as referenda to the state's elections commission. And with enough signatures, those proposals would be on the ballot. If the legislature decides to take up Evers' proposal, it would have to approve it twice in 2 different 2-year cycles before it would even come to a vote. However, they may not approve it, as some Assembly and Senate leaders think the move is, quote, a political stunt. He served 41 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted of murder. And still, Gary Tyler says he is not bitter. The Louisiana native was just 17 years old when he was quickly tried and convicted of killing a white classmate in a racially charged environment and sentenced to death. Lawyers and activists worked on his case for decades until his release in 2016. Today, the 64-year-old shares his story to encourage people to act when they witness injustice, and no matter what, never stop believing in themselves and others.
Never give up. That there's always going to be someone out there that's going to hear your cries. Always going to be someone out there going to come to your support. You got to believe. Never stop believing, despite the hardship, despite the difficulties. Have hope.
Now you can hear more of Gary Tyler's story and his message tomorrow night at 7. He'll be speaking at Viterbo University's San Damiano Chapel. The event is free and it's open to the public. The La Crosse Area Suicide Prevention Initiative held its annual event today to mark Suicide Awareness Month. The event featured music and a performance by the La Crosse Dance Center. The group set up memorial displays and gave out information about local resources. Now, a member of the initiative hopes events like this let people know they're not alone.
Hopefully, if anybody is having a hard time or thoughts of suicide, hopefully they will see with these events that they're not alone, that there are other people who have experienced those thoughts and feelings too.
And a note to our viewers, if you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. Suicide prevention is the focus of a presentation at Viterbo University tomorrow evening. It's part of an Ethics in Leadership fall lecture series in the La Crosse Area Suicide Prevention Initiative. Featured speaker, clinical psychologist Sally Spencer-Thomas will talk about how everyone plays a role in suicide prevention. That presentation begins at 7 p.m. It'll also be streamed on Viterbo Ethics Facebook page. Gunderson Health System is joining the effort to feed the hungry. The health system has donated $50,000 to Wafer Food Pantry to help fund the transformation of Wafer's new location. Wafer's taking over the former Gordy's Market building on La Crosse's north side, and the pantry's executive director says a donation like this will help them serve even more people.
You know, Gunderson Health System has been supportive of Wafer for so long, and so it's not really a surprise that they decided to come alongside us in this project, but we're very thrilled that they find value in the project.
And the new facility will include more storage for both food and vehicles, loading docks, and a drive-up canopy. Last year, Wafer served 30,000 people. The building project is expected to be finished in the spring. Coming up after the break, First Responder Fitness. A new program is launching to take La Crosse firefighter strength and wellness to new heights. And a retail giant says the economy has them thinking smaller ahead of holiday shopping season.
Expand your outdoor living space with our huge selection of landscape blocks from Menards. Get a free estimate instantly with our Design and Buy landscaping program. From patios, retaining walls, fire pits, and more, you can design the landscape of your dreams for free. Visit the store or menards.com to get started on your next project today. Right now, save 11% on everything. Only at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I received a call that my granddaughter had been hit. She suffered a serious brain injury and nearly died. The driver who hit Samantha should have been in jail. Mandela Barnes supports no cash bail that puts criminals like Daryl Brooks back on the streets. He's more worried about criminals than victims. Mandela Barnes doesn't have the judgment to keep our communities safe.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Have you ever experienced this view? Hi, Andrew Larson here. With Gutter Shutter, you'll never have to experience it again. Please give up this dangerous chore and protect your home's foundation with Gutter Shutter, the strongest, most durable, maintenance-free gutter on the market. Over the past 15 years, my team has installed thousands of maintenance-free gutter systems across South Central Wisconsin. We'd love to come out and show you what Gutter Shutter can do for you and your home, but most importantly, keep you safe and off that ladder. So call today for a free estimate.
The physical demands for firefighters on the job are especially difficult. Mayo Clinic Health System is now launching a program to help La Crosse firefighters reach new levels of their strength and well-being. News 8 Now's Rob Romano explains.
In the heat of an emergency, firefighters need the strength to not only fight fires, but to carry people to safety. A new collaboration between Mayo Clinic Health System and the La Crosse Fire Department is aimed at improving each firefighter's strength and well-being. On Wednesday, 3 firefighters with the La Crosse Fire Department completed an obstacle course while wearing a heart rate monitor and other gear, so Mayo Clinic can get a better measurement of their skills.
We are just trying to help them be able to do it at the highest level while also looking at trying to reduce aches and pains and try and hopefully reduce some risk of injury along the way.
Joel Ludke is an athletic trainer and strength and conditioning coach with Mayo Clinic. He says that in addition to assessing each firefighter's strength, the health system is also going to conduct a number of fitness tests and then measure the results of those tests every 4 or 5 weeks. Erin Stotts has been with the La Crosse Fire Department for years. She says the program is a huge benefit.
Getting, specific movements to do for your body. That's going to reduce injury.
La Crosse Fire Chief Jeff Schott says physical fitness goes into every aspect of responding to an emergency.
Everything that we do as far as our job duties as firefighters and EMTs is all predicated on our fitness levels. And that goes to our preparation for execution and excellence on the fire ground. And there's nothing more important than that, and that's why we dedicate part of our duty day every day to fitness.
In La Crosse, Rob Romano, News 8 Now.
And Schott expects a sizable number of firefighters to participate in the program on a monthly or quarterly basis. Mayo Clinic is also going to use the information gathered from this program as part of a study. Still to come tonight at 10, drunk driving deaths occur all too frequently in the United States. One organization wants to change that in a new way. The latest measures they're asking federal regulators to place on car manufacturers.
And in the world of weather, substantially cooler today as compared to yesterday, where we were in the 80s and 90s. Today, some places struggled to make it into the 70s. By the end of the week, some places may struggle to see 60s. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Thank you for watching News 8 La Crosse. Here are tonight's winning Powerball numbers.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
There's case after case. Women working for Tim Michaels' construction company saying they were groped, sexually assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. When they resisted, they say they were threatened, called a liar, and forced to resign. And when co-workers spoke up, they were fired. If this is how Tim Michaels runs his business, how do you think he'd run the state? Tim Michaels' radical agenda is so very, very wrong.
Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
I'm Dave Estenson, and I've been a lot of things. Law enforcement officer, long-haul trucker, small businessman, school board member, and a bull rider. I got tired of saying someone should do something, so I'm running for state senate to back the badge and help stop crime, fix our roads and the supply chain, bring common sense back to our schools, and stop the bull, because I quit that a long time ago. I'm Dave Estenson, and I'd appreciate your vote.
CityCam 8 is brought to you by the Board Store. A new entry door is like a smile on the face of your home. As the only Provia Platinum dealer in the area, the Board Store can help you design the door that welcomes you home.
Federal traffic data says in the U.S., 1 person every 45 minutes dies in a drunk driving crash. Now, the group that investigates the causes of accidents want all new cars to include drunk driving detectors. The National Transportation Safety Board is pushing for those detectors and also to have all new cars have speed-related technology to prevent drunk driving deaths. Now, that kind of regulation would need to come from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and there's no word if they'd actually pursue that idea. Meanwhile, Walmart is planning ahead for the holidays. The retail giant is adding 40,000 people to its workforce for the holiday shopping season. It's actually a lower number than last year when the company was looking to add 150,000 employees. Retailers expect a slower holiday shopping season because inflation has taken a toll on shoppers' purchasing power. The largest annual regional job fair happens tomorrow at Onalaska's Omni Center. The Coulee Region Job Fair has more than 65 regional employers, with some doing on-site interviews and hiring. This year, there will be a job seeker resource area to help people with resumes, veteran youth services, and career services. The fair starts at 2 in the afternoon. There's a free shuttle to take people from the Main Street Library in La Crosse to the Omni Center. Let's switch it up, talk some weather with First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean for a look at your forecast.
Hey, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Like I said, cooler today as compared to yesterday. Take a look here at the allergy report. Ragweed and weed on the low end for tomorrow and Friday. Mold is going to stay on the high end. Take a look at the highs for today. Made it into the 70s from top to bottom. Made it to 74 in La Crosse. But I want to give you the disclaimer on that. Look at when we hit that. 12:53 this morning. 61 was our low. That was at 9:53. That's where we are right now. 74 and 52 is where we should be for this time of year. So right now there's that 61 in La Crosse, 57 in Viroqua, 58 in Sparta, 56 in Black River Falls. Eau Claire, good evening to you guys. You're at 53. Double Nichols, 55 in Decorah, as well as Volk Field. And like I said, Viroqua's at 57. We're substantially cooler as compared to yesterday. You don't need me to tell you that. Look at this map right here. Between 8 degrees cooler to 22 degrees cooler, depending on your location. Decorah, 25 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. So the first alert forecast for the evening and overnight hours, we're going to go into the mid-40s with mostly clear skies. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For your Thursday, we'll see a temperature right around 64 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the north at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So the Dean's List as we go into the overnight hours. Fall starts tomorrow at 8:04. The 8:04 p.m. I should say. Rain chances not out of the question this weekend, and below normal temperatures are in the forecast, not just for tomorrow, not just for the weekend, but for the next several days to come. Our average high for this time of year is 74 degrees. We're going to struggle to see 60 on Friday. We'll go to 68 for Saturday, 66 for Sunday. Then we see another dip as we go into next week, where we go to 62 on Tuesday, 66 for Wednesday. All right, so let's help you plan your evening and overnight hours. There's that northerly wind I was talking about, and you see the temperatures staying in the 50s. As we go into about the 5 o'clock time frame, when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 40s will greet you. We'll see temperatures in the mid to upper 50s by the noon hour. You see that northerly wind staying in play. By the 5 o'clock hour, some places get into the 60s. We're going to struggle to hit 60 in Viroqua. Over towards the Wisconsin Rapids, Wausau, Marshfield area, they'll stay in the upper 50s. As we go into Thursday night, going into Friday morning, some places will see temperatures in the 30s when you wake up. All right, the radar scan right now showing a clean sweep across the area. And in terms of precipitation, our next chance of rain will be Friday late afternoon going into the early evening hours. So there's 2 o'clock from Ladysmith over towards Prairie du Chien, seeing a scattered shower or two. That'll push its way out. And then Saturday overnight, there's that band I was talking about that'll push its way through. So that's round 2, and then we'll have another round push its way through for your Sunday. So the balance of the 8-day forecast has temperatures in the upper 50s, low 60s for Friday, mid to upper 60s with rain chances this weekend. The 60s continue Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, going into Thursday with sunny skies. So ironically, tomorrow's the first day of fall, and it is here and with vengeance.
And I am here for it. Thanks a lot, Eric.
You bet.
Coming up next in sports, a local bodybuilder is celebrating a top performance on the national stage. Plus, a Scenic Bluffs rivalry is renewed this week. Cade catches up with the Cardinals of Bangor next.
News 8 Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Whether you need routine care or treatment for a complex condition, Mayo Clinic Health System has convenient and safe options for the care you and your family need.
They're destroying America and our livelihoods. Now, DC elites are spending big on Brad Paff. The same Beltway bigwigs who wasted taxpayer money that bailed out elite golf courses and luxury hotels are now bankrolling Brad Paff's campaign because Brad Paff supported their big spending, price-hiking, reckless schemes. And that's why we can't send him to Washington. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Sinking driveway, settling patio, collapsing stoop, uneven pool deck. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call American Water Works.
This is the Riverbank team. We're tough, we're determined, and we are the largest locally owned community bank in the La Crosse area. Across all 14 community branches, our game plan remains constant. Go the extra yard to provide personal service and support to help you and all of our clients reach the goal line. Call us or stop by to learn more about our Smart Business checking account or any one of our personalized products and services. Join our team. Riverbank, local banking made simple, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Derek Van Orden, former U.S. Navy SEAL. Over 20 years of active duty, defending America in hostile territory. 5 combat tours, hundreds of missions, sea, air, and land. Now, he's on the most important no-fail mission of his life.
Saving America for my grandchildren and yours.
Grandpa, we're just going to the park.
Yes, we are. You guys ready? Derek Van Orden and I approve this mission and this message.
Would you look at that?
It's beautiful.
Wow.
That's our boy.
So proud.
Start your morning with a sausage biscuit or sausage McMuffin and pair it with a $1 any size Coke.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Here's News 8 Now's Cade Overton.
We're already on week 6 of Wisconsin high school football. It's gone by so fast. Teams have just 4 games left of the regular season. And we're starting to see some big-time matchups like this Friday. 5-0 Cashton hosting 5-0 Bangor, a game that's almost certainly going to have a direct outcome on the Scenic Bluffs title. For Bangor, they've won the Scenic Bluffs Conference every year since 2014. Now, the Cardinals did win it last year, but it was Cashton who won in the second round of the playoffs, and that's a loss that everyone on this Cardinal team remembers vividly.
I mean, it drives me
I don't know about the younger guys, but I know all the seniors. It just grinds our gears and definitely motivates us way more.
A lot of us seniors and juniors and sophomores, they experienced that last year walking off the field with the loss. So it's just fire for us this year.
And they'll look to get their revenge this Friday in Cashton for our game of the week. And looking ahead to week 3 of the NFL season, the Packers are traveling down to Tampa Bay to face off against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. A vintage Brady versus Rodgers matchup with both quarterbacks a little past their prime and both without major weapons. Rodgers still getting the chemistry down with the new guys as that will continue to grow, but Brady will be without his top wide receiver Mike Evans this week as he's been suspended for 1 game for getting into a fight last week. But regardless, the Bucs have a ton of talent on both sides of the ball and the Packers need to come ready to play.
Regardless of who's out there for them, I mean, it's a heck of a challenge. It's just defensively they're loaded, offensively they're loaded. They got, Tom and they got a lot of great athleticism on their team.
Now, also after Aaron Jones' big performance on Sunday night, he has been named the FedEx Ground Player of the Week, the 5th time he's won the award, and I'm sure the Pack will look to get him going early on Sunday. For the Vikings, it was a tale of 2 different weeks. They started off hot with a huge win over the Packers, but on Monday Night Football, they got a little embarrassed by the Eagles, taking the loss 24-7. Kirk Cousins is now just 2-10 in his Monday Night Football career, with both wins coming over the Bears. But he's moved on to preparing for the Detroit Lions and says there's a lot to learn from last game, including getting off to a better start.
When you are behind and you're having to throw the ball, you just don't even get that chance to run the football and play downhill like that. It kind of all ties together, and it's amazing how when you're efficient in one area, it can help the other area take off.
Now, the Vikings had just 11 rushes on Monday. Dalvin Cook had just 6 of those. Their game against the Lions is set to kick off at noon. And look out for Detroit. They're also 1-1 and only lost to the Eagles by 3 points. The Brewers looking for a series win over the Mets and trying to stay in that playoff hunt. 6th inning, and Willy Adames also wants to play some playoff baseball because he smashes this one for a solo home run. His 31st of the year, and the Brewers take the lead. The next inning, Mike Brasso up to the plate after they intentionally walked Adames, and Brasso makes them pay. A deep fly ball to left field. It clears the fence for a grand slam. Have a day. That's how it would end. The Brewers, they win 6-0, but they've dug themselves a hole and need some help, and they didn't get any of it tonight. The Phillies getting a comeback win over the Blue Jays. The Brewers are now 2.5 games behind the Phillies for that last wild card spot, with 13 games left to go. And it's going to take a miracle for the Twins to sneak into the playoffs, as with tonight's loss to the Royals. It's not impossible, just very unlikely. And a local bodybuilder is celebrating a great showing on a big stage. Fiona Daniels is the first teenager with Down syndrome in the entire country to earn a pro card in bodybuilding. She recently competed in her first ever national competition, and she took home 2nd place in 2 categories. News 8 Now's first detailed her passion for bodybuilding 2 years ago, and since then she's been to 5 other competitions, winning 5 categories. Now, Ken, you guys detailed her 2 years ago. Did you ever have the chance to meet Fiona?
I haven't met Fiona. It was actually Alec Giannakopoulos. I don't know if people at home remember Alec, but he detailed her story when she was 16. When she was first born, the doctors told her parents that she was going to have to be institutionalized, probably wouldn't live a long life. And she's beaten the odds. And she's developed quite a passion for bodybuilding. She saw it on TV, I believe it was, and just hooked onto that idea. And she was like, Dad, I want to do that. So they've been training together, kind of a father-daughter thing, traveling, of course, across the country. That national competition was in St. Louis. And to already come away with 2nd place finishes among national competitors, and she's only 18, she's got a bright future ahead of her in professional bodybuilding, it looks like.
We'll be sure to follow her story because it's so cool. And going ahead to Saturday, the Badgers night game against Ohio State, you looking forward to it?
Not at all. That one's going to be a blowout for sure.
All right, that's all we have for sports, and we'll be right back.
Joe Biden on Medicare for All.
It's going to raise taxes on middle-class people.
Medicare for All would double your income taxes, ban employer-provided and union health plans, and bankrupt Medicare for seniors. Mandela Barnes still supports Bernie Sanders' socialist takeover of your health care.
Medicare for All is the easiest way to get us to universal health care.
Mandela Barnes, more liberal than Joe Biden, way too liberal for Wisconsin.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Violent crime up across Wisconsin. Families nervous about their safety. Yet Mandela Barnes called for releasing half of Wisconsin's jailed inmates. That would mean releasing over 10,000 criminals right into our neighborhoods. 10,000 reasons your family would be in more danger. Barnes also supported defunding the police. 10,000 more criminals with fewer police to protect us. What could go wrong? Wisconsin Truth Bank is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers, and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Ron Johnson's at it again, lying about my taxes. Let's be clear, my taxes are paid in full, but there were times I was getting by on peanut butter sandwiches. And that's why I support a tax cut for the middle class. Put more money in your pockets, because I know how hard you work. But Johnson used his Senate seat to write a loophole that gave huge tax cuts to himself and his biggest donors, leaving us with crumbs. And that's how we get left behind. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
Well, it is almost time for an annual celebration of culture, and La Crosse's Lincoln Middle School students are celebrating with an all-school assembly. In preparation for Hmong New Year, students performed traditional dances and gave presentations about why the celebration is important to Hmong culture. Anyone is encouraged to come, especially if it's your first time.
We want people to come and bring their families and friends and join the festivities over there with the Hmong people.
Now, along with traditional clothing and dances, the celebration will also include authentic Hmong food. Hmong New Year begins Saturday at Veterans Memorial Park in West Salem. And we'll be right back to wrap things up.
Perkins burger, fries, and pie combos are back, starting at just $10.99. Mix and match any of our 100% Angus beef burgers, like our barbecue Tangler burger, breakfast burger, and the all-new Smokehouse Bacon Double Cheeseburger. Served with crispy fries and a slice of any of our famous Perkins pies. And don't forget to order seasonal treats from our bakery, like our fresh-baked pumpkin pies and muffins. Order online at perkinstogo.com.
At a company, the culture comes from the top. Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times over sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. Women who worked for Michaels' company said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Higher-ups at Michaels dismissed the women as liars and even fired those who spoke out. Is that what we need for Wisconsin? Tim Michaels, too radical, too divisive.
It's dangerous up here, and it's no fun shopping around for a reputable contractor.
I've built my company on the promise to treat our customers like we would our own family. That means an honest, no-pressure sales experience, expert craftsmanship, and a lifetime guarantee of our work.
Over the past 15 years, my team has installed thousands of maintenance-free gutter systems in the Rochester and La Crosse area. And we'd love to show you what Gutter Shutter can do for you and your home, but most importantly, keep you safe and off that ladder. So call today for a free estimate.
Tim Walz failed us. Record violent crime, out of control inflation, and declining education for our kids. That's why we need Dr. Scott Jensen, Minnesota Family Doctor of the Year and a lifelong Minnesotan. He'll lock up violent repeat offenders, put more money in the family budget, and make sure our kids get the best education.
As a family doctor for more than 40 years, I have been a trusted voice for my patients. Now I'm asking to be your voice as governor of Minnesota. Together, let's heal Minnesota.
Transportation, food supply, everything is going carbon-free. At Xcel Energy, we see it too. Eco-friendly car washes, carbon-free search engines, and all that clean energy needs clean energy. The same reliable, more affordable energy that powers your home. This is how the future is made.
Next 8 days has temperatures staying in the 60s. We're going to struggle to hit 60 on Friday. Have a 40% chance of evening showers Friday night going into early Saturday morning. And then Sunday we have an on and off chance, and then 60s continue throughout next week.
But Friday evening showers for the sports department.
Yeah, just take the rain gear just in case.
We love that. We love that cold rain.
Right,
It
there
isn't
we
going to
go.
be better than that.
Every Friday.
Snow.
Oh, come on
don't
now.
say that word.
And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow.